Okay, quick video here as my number 9 movie on my top 10 list is Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. Still kind of a weird name, but the reason why this is number 9 on my list, and also, I guess first I should say, I have a whole review about this video already. My idea was making a review for every top 10 movie that I have on my top 10 list, but I've already made a review on this one, so I'm just giving you some quick thoughts about it and why it's my number 9. I just think it worked for me. I just think it's fun. I've seen it twice now, which I'm not a big watch a movie 100 times guy. That's just kind of how I watched a movie, and then I'll come back to it sort of later on after I've already seen it and experienced it, maybe like years later. But, I watched it a second time, works better as a second watch, to be honest. At least the first half does. It works better on the second watch than on the first watch, although obviously the explaining stuff works better on the first watch, and that aspect of it. But, again, a lot of little details throughout, just kind of a smartly written movie. I've heard some, I think, weird criticisms about the movie. Some things like, oh, well, what about this little part here that doesn't fully work? Like, listen, I'm sure CinemaSins will be able to find plenty of sins throughout this movie. That's not the point of the movie. And even people complained about like, oh, well, I predicted who the killer was. It's like, first off, kind of the main mystery wasn't even who the killer is. But also, like, that's not the point of the... It's not an escape room, right? And that's how Rian Johnson, I think, views these things. Is the point is to entertain you for 2 hours. Again, I'm always surprised by every twist, so they all get me. But if it didn't work, if you knew what was going to happen, that is a valid reason to not be as into it. But I don't think it's a valid reason to dislike it necessarily. I still think there's plenty of things to like about this movie, and I think that there's plenty of. Again, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I can't talk you into it. But for me, what I loved about this movie wasn't necessarily the twists and turns, but was just the ride there. I loved all the characters. I thought the comedy really worked for me. Some of the twists did surprise me. I won't spoil them, but definitely some of the sort of smaller twists throughout definitely got me. So that's very fun to see. And again, it's at the end of the day, it's trying to give you a narratively satisfying conclusion, which I think it accomplished. So there's a lot of unique, sort of silly stuff throughout these movies. They're not not to be taken overly seriously, but you can take them seriously, and they still mostly work. Again, a couple things here and there you can point towards if you're a big plot hole guy, but I'm not. I just like to watch, be along for the ride. And while I think the first one was a little bit more subtle in its humor than this one, which is a bit more over the top, I had no issue with it. I thought the whole glass onion metaphor was fun. It's just one of the more fun movies I've seen of the year. And at the end of the day, movies are about entertainment. So that's why I have it as number 9 on my list.